Hello chess lovers, I have an interesting game for you played by Viswanathan Anand against Garry Kasparov. The game was played in 1991. Anand started with e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, a6. This is the Najdorf variation of Sicilian defense, and Anand goes for Amsterdam variation by playing f4, e6, bishop d3, knight bd7, castling, queen b6, attacking the knight on d4, bishop e3, protecting the knight, and at the same time offering the pawn on b2. But it turns out that the pawn on b2 is poisoned. However, Kasparov took the pawn, and only then he felt the poignant taste of that pawn. Here came a strong response by white. Can you find that move? Actually, Anand is using the fact that this queen on b2 is misplaced, and he is trying to trap it by playing knight b5, a takes b5, knight takes b5. White is threatening a check on c7, and at the same time takes under control this a3 and c3 squares. And also white is going to play a3 in order to take under control this b4 square, and then play bishop d4, and black queen is trapped. So Kasparov played rook a5. If queen b4, then knight c7, king e7, knight takes a8, queen a5, e5, knight e8, e takes d6, knight takes d6, c4, queen a8, c5, knight e8, f5. White has a strong and decisive attack. So Kasparov decided to play rook a5, rook b1, rook takes b5. If queen takes a2, then knight c3 is winning. After queen e2, rook b3, and again black queen is trapped. So we see rook b5, rook takes b2, rook takes b2. It seems like black is doing quite well. Black has a rook and two pieces against white queen, but this time it turns out that now black rook is misplaced on b2, and now Anand is going to trap that rook as well. He played queen a1. If rook b4, then queen c3, forking the bishop and the rook. Kasparov played rook b6, bishop takes b6, knight takes b6, queen c3, bishop e7, rook b1, knight fd7. This sets a little trap. For example, if you play queen c7 in order to attack this knight on b6, then black has a strong response. Can you find that move? Actually, castling is very strong, and if you take on b6, then bishop d8, queen takes c8, and bishop takes b6 check is winning. You are losing your queen. So in this position, Anand decided to take on g7 instead of playing queen c7. Bishop f6, queen h6, king e7, and bishop b5, a dubious move. A better move is g4. If rook g8, then g5, bishop g7, queen h4. By the way, taking on h7 is not good, because after bishop d4 check, king f1, this time black is trapping white queen by playing rook h8. So queen h4, e5, king h1, e takes f4, e5, trying to open up black king. Bishop takes e5, g6 check, bishop f6, g takes h7, rook h8, queen h6. White is much better, but after bishop b5, black could equalize the game by playing e5, and if rook f1, then rook g8, f takes e5, bishop takes e5, queen h7, rook g7, queen h4 check, knight f6. This is equal already. But black, instead of playing e5 in this position, played rook g8. Now comes rook d1, putting pressure on this d6 square. e5, f5, knight c5. Black underestimated the strength of this rook. Instead, a better move was rook d8, g4, knight c5, and now already the pawn on d6 is protected. g5, knight takes e4, g takes f6, knight f6. Of course, white is better, but this would have been a better continuation for black. So we see this knight c5 move, and here Anand played a strong move. Can you find that move? Here comes a destructive rook takes d6. If king d6, then queen f6 check, king c7, queen f7, and you are losing your rook as well. Bishop g5, queen takes h7, knight e4, rook takes b6, rook d8, bishop d3, allowing this bishop e3 check, king f1, bishop takes b6, bishop takes e4, rook d4, c3, and Kasparov resigned because, well, if you take on e4, then f6 and you are losing your rook on e4. A great game by Viswanathan Anand. Your comments please, and thanks for watching. Good luck.